So I wanted to go over my harness bar kit really quick just to show the different pieces I have with it. So this is the main harness bar. Um, this is what fits behind the truck to do most of the work. I have all the hardware put in it just for a couple of reasons. One, to make sure everything's included and all the holes are clear. Just make sure I have everything with it. This comes pre-welded, already done what it needs to do. These are the back bars, which I'll show you in a minute, but these connect from the harness bar to the bottom of the seat bracket. These are the front bars, which go from harness bar again to the floor brackets, which are these. There's one on each side. Obviously, this is the passenger side, this is the driver's side, and so this is what bolts to the floor and absorbs the force when the bar is pulled forward. These are the side brackets that fit on the side and attach to the side of the harness bar. You can see these slots are ovaled a little bit, so you can adjust the bar up or down a little bit as needed. And also the striker holes are slotted, so you can move them in and out as needed to make sure it fits right. This is the hardware pack of extra hardware that's not included. Just to go over these real quick. So these two bolts will be for the back of the seat brackets for these bars. Same with the spacers. They go on these bolts, which go to these bars, which are on the back. I include new 4 bolts that bolt the seat bracket to the floor. So the driver's side has 4 bolts. The back 2 are the big ones, the 12mm, and the front 2 are the smaller ones, the 10mm. The passenger side, the back 2 again are the 12mm ones, but there's 2 studs on the front, and so I have 2 10mm nuts here that are used for the passenger side. I'll just put them together to make it easy. So pause real quick and I'll show you what it looks like installed. So this is on my personal truck, and I've had this harness bar ready for a couple months now, but I just wanted to test it myself and make sure it was good before I released it. So get some light in here. So these are Brom Elite seats sitting on my normal height brackets that I made for myself. And so you kind of see the harness bar in there, how I have it set up. It's difficult to see, but these are obviously the front bars, and they go down to the floor, to that bracket I talked about a second ago. That goes under, like so. The back bars, well, that's better. Fits to the back of the bracket, like so. And they both come up to meet right there, and I have a little spacer in the middle to keep them separated. There's a left and right thread for each one, and so you just twist it to extend it or shorten it, and so you take up all the tension that way. And so you can see how I have it, the shoulder straps routed around the bar, and again, and then they connect to the bottom of the bracket down there. You can also see how it's bolted to the side here. And the only part you have to modify on the truck is make a little slot right here to get to the back of the striker, and that's it. The rest of it bolts in. Impression wise, this thing is solid as a rock. I know me pulling on the belt, you can't really see much, but trust me when I say this thing is in there, and obviously I trust it, and I think it'll be really nice. Short of doing a full cage, this is about as good as it gets as far as a harness bar goes. Any questions, let me know. Thanks. Alright, for the ground piece, this is pretty simple. So they're going to have one of these per side. This is the passenger side right now, and this is going to fit over this stud and this stud, these holes, and this is just on top of it. So when you go to install it, it'll be under the carpet, obviously. But I do this to show you that you might want to trim the carpet right here, just so you can pull it back. Then when you put this on, put it back over the top so it looks a little bit better. If I had 3 hands, I would show you, but 1 second. Yeah, so what you just do is lift up the carpet, make sure you get under, I don't think you can see it, under the insulation also. So this is sitting on the floorboard. You see it fits right here, and if you decided to trim this, just bring it back right down, and you can, tuck it however you want. Might cut it here again so it sits a little bit better. That's it. So the one area I know that's going to present a problem is if you have a center console. This is just the normal one, I think. It has this weird hump right here in the bracket. Even though there's space behind it, it's still raised up, and so that makes a clearance problem with this bracket. And you can kind of line it up and see. So you'll want the console on bottom, then this on top. And if you do that, it obviously won't sit far enough back. So the back, however, this is fine over here. So there's a couple ways you can deal with that, but I think the easiest is the BFH right here. So let's give this a shot. And we're in business. So just 30 seconds and we're good to go. So that should fit nice now. Worst case is if you have issues with this wanting to move over, which now it just sits tight right here, right? You can slot that hole that was right here, slot it this way, so you can slide the whole thing this way if you need to. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to measure to cut the side paneling for the vertical piece here. And basically what you're going to do is cut out a slot, vertical slot, enough to slide this into. So it really doesn't have to be thick at all, because this is only 3/16 of an inch thick. But it has the back plate on the back. So you'll need to make it probably 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch wide. And so the best way to line it up is to either mark it like this, using the striker as a reference, straight over to see where it hit the panel. What I did was measure from here. So it's roughly 3.5 from here down to here. Then I'll just do it like this, right? So you can kind of see there, 3.5, and about 8.25 at the bottom. So if you come over here, use the same reference. Roughly start at 3.5 where that mark is, and go down to 8.25 right there, and roughly 1/2 inch wide. So that's the section you're going to take out. Then once you trim this with a sharp blade or a cutting disc or a sawzall or whatever, then you can reinstall the whole panel, and you should be able to just slide this in and reattach the striker here, and it should fit perfectly. So in regards to putting the side brackets on, the best way I found to hold the stock striker backing is just get a piece of electrical tape and just tape it. And you don't want to go crazy with this, because you really just want something to hold it in place when you slide it back into the slot you made in the plastic. So you want it to still be able to move around, so you want just enough to hold it in place as you put it in. And I can't do this one with one hand, so give me a second. Alright, so I got it in there. Yeah, and so as you can see, there's some adjustment in here with the way I made the slots, so you'll be able to slide it in and out as needed to adjust when you made it up to the main bar up here. Alright, so I was a little bit off. I didn't go back quite far enough, but you kind of get the idea. And so the way these are designed, right, so there's some ability to slide in and out, so you can adjust it as needed. Alright, so once you get both side pieces in here and them still fitting loosely with the striker, same on that side, then you'll put the main bar in. And the easiest way is really if you have two people, but if it's just by yourself, it's not too bad. Basically, you're going to want to put one into there while standing over here. Then you'll basically just push this to the side, then push this back and have them made up right here. And so once they're mated up, you'll want to put in, there's 3 bolts per side. Go ahead and put those in loosely, and then you'll tighten the striker bolts, then go back and final tighten these. You'll also notice that on this, the holes on the big bracket are actually slotted, so there is some misalignment adjustability. You can slide it back and forth, and so that's really for production purposes. And so if I don't weld them perfectly parallel or something, it doesn't matter where you adjust them, where you tighten them, but generally I would kind of put it in the middle and tighten it there.